How hard are you willing to work? How disciplined are you intent on being? How sober are we as a people prepared to be as we tunnel our way to stability? The words just said were uttered first by the man you see here, Dr. Lloyd Richardson. He worked as a physician for 34 years of his life on the tiny island of St. Martin. In 2010, Doc, as they would call him on the island, entered the world of politics on St. Martin.
All I am asking you this evening is, with all that I've done, and you know me, if we are to get this work on the road and bring this country to where it should be, send me.
This is his political journey. Today, Doc is familiar with the political side of St. Martin, as he has already participated in 2 elections so far.
I'm here. I'm ready. You're ready. The country is ready. We are going to move it forward. During my years practicing medicine on St. Martin, I stayed away from politics because I didn't want my practice then to be influenced by politics. I didn't want people to see my decisions or the way I handled people to be colored. So I stayed away from it so that I could treat everybody equally, and so people had no reasons to think that I would favor, or my attitude towards them would be tampered with by anything political. So I kept away from politics. Because of the constitutional change, I thought that there were many unfair and unequal, and also from a management point of view, things that needed to be changed so that St. Martin could be in effect more autonomous. But not only that, that big entities like the Social Security would be able to be run by its own people who were closer to the problems that exist on St. Martin. So I figured that having gone through that experience for 30 years, that I would be able to lend a hand with regards to how I think things should function in St. Martin. So at that point in time, when asked to enter the political arena, but not only one party or one individual, I conceded, given that I had already retired. When I first began, it was a very difficult decision, in the sense that I had been asked by at least 3 major parties, and of course some of them were parties that typically my family had not supported over the years. But at that point in time, we also looked at the changes that had taken place politically, and felt that there were also some prospects that were good for St. Martin with the parties that we hadn't formally supported. So it became a problem for me. Eventually, I took the decision to follow the party, or join the party where I think my constituency would be biggest, or people who would more likely follow or support me, given that I myself didn't have any idea of how wide my following would be in the political arena. So I looked at the philosophy of the people, and the philosophy that I had guarded for many years would play a role, and wherever that would play a bigger role, then that would be the party that I would join to run the first election back in 2010, and that happened to be the National Alliance Party. campaign, because of the constitutional change, campaign number one had a very short period. So the campaign went on for basically 6 weeks and was over because it was a time for changing from Netherlands Antilles to going into country St. Martin.
The Netherlands Antilles was an autonomous Caribbean country within the Kingdom of the Netherlands, which St. Martin, along with 4 other islands, was a part of.
So it was very short. I enjoyed the popularity that I had basically attained or achieved through the years practicing medicine and other social security. And so I did extremely well, better than I had thought that year.
Doc received 473 votes that year, ranking 4th highest in his party and 6th highest in the entire election.
In my own particular experience, I basically ran the election vying more for the Ministry of Health, since that's where my experience and my training lie. But in both occasions, because of the formation of coalitions and the wishes of the parties joining the coalition and us being hungry to have them join the coalition so that we could govern, sacrifices had to be made, and in both occasions I had to make sacrifices. And so the last 4 years I remained in Parliament.
On October 5th, 2010, Dr. Lloyd Richardson swore in as an official member of the Parliament of St. Martin. 5 days later, on October 10th, St. Martin became a constituent country within the Kingdom of the Netherlands. On that day, in order to open the parliamentary term, Doc officiated the very first parliamentary meeting of country St. Martin, as he was the oldest member of the entire parliament body. That night, a ceremony was held.
Well, the night St. Martin became a country wasn't too exuberant for me. Since we became a country, we've had 2 instructions from the Kingdom government. And so, from that pre-knowledge, I knew already that we had challenging times before, but even though we felt good about the challenges, we felt good about the freedom to be able to meet those challenges and to work towards solving them and making sure that the country remained stable. There was still the fear that we would probably not make it, or that the Kingdom government would be so sharp in their scrutiny of us that some of these instructions would still come down and hamper then governing programs and objectives of the government towards progress. I have been offered the position of President of Parliament. We are hopeful that even though some of our requested objectives or objectives that we ran on are not the positions that we now hold to be able to effect those objectives, but we hope we could be co-sponsors of something positive, for instance in the field of health, and still have a very successful governing period without, being as fickle and as unstable as the last 4 years have been. So we are hopeful for these coming 4 years.